This is Maurice Skillern. This is my first video. I'm making this video because I couldn't find one to give me what I needed. What I have is a 1998 CBR 600 F3. And what I want to do is change the turn signal relay to a signal relay that will allow me to hook up the LED lights without having a fast blink rate. As you can see in the owner's manual, the turn signal relay is located right here. This is facing the bike, so it's on the left side. Your fuse box is on this side too, which is right here to coordinate or to make sure you're in the right place. I had actually looked at this initially without having the owner's manual. It looked right, but not until I got the owner's manual was I comfortable with accepting the fact that that in fact was a turn relay. That's what we're going to be changing. Once you open the box, this is what the turn signal relay actually looks like. Custom LED ELFR1. This is the turn signal relay that will let you put the LED lights on a 1998 Honda CBR F3. Has the connection too. Haven't looked at the connection on the bike, but well, I did look at it. It looked like this should slide right in, so it'll be a plug-and-play situation. But we'll be able to cover that a little further on. But this, in fact, is the replacement turn signal relay. Okay, this is my motorcycle. 1998 Honda CBR 600 F3. Her name is Sheba. I called her Sheba because this particular bike I laid down. She's a bit feisty. Survived that one and did the work on my bike to get it back up after all the damage was done. And I did the work myself. But getting back to the subject at hand, this is what I need. The new flasher relay. I don't know if you can see that, but I've got the flashers on the mirrors on the bike. That's a LED light, so it made the blink rate faster on the regular relay. And that's on both sides. Okay, so this is one of the reasons. I'm going to be hooking an integrated tail light on the back, which is also a LED, so I would have needed it anyway. So this is getting the change done ahead of time. I had already started the process of adding the current reducers that you can buy from a lot of different places, but personally I didn't care for this. You can't wrap anything around it to really secure it because, again, it's going to get hot. Didn't like that idea inside here floating around, tapping up against my fairing, and, you know, if it gets hot enough, doing some damage there, or getting too hot for the wiring around it because I couldn't secure it. So I looked for other methods to get my blink rate to slow down, and I found it with the attachment that I showed you a little while ago. And I am praying and hoping that this works just the way they said it will, and it'll reduce my blink rate for my front lights on my mirrors as well as on the tail that's coming soon. All right, to start with, there is your flash relay right there. As I was saying before, here is your fuse box here. So your flash relay is here. You can see it. It's right like it was, or just like it was on the owner's manual. You can reach this without taking your fairing off, actually. I'm able to get it off by going underneath. Can't do that and hold the camera, so I'll start this process and show you how it goes here in a moment. Before I do that, I'll show you a little closer as far as the flash relay. This piece here that slides over the metal, that piece actually slides up off the metal piece, the top of that, and then that'll release the flash relay. Again, I can't hold the camera and take it off at the same time, so I'll show you the after effect. But I'm going to be reaching under to push that piece up over off of this part right here, which is the metal piece that holds it in place. I'll tune back in a moment. I'll have it off and I'll show you what it looks like. Showed you before, that's the relay. As you can see, it's off of the metal piece. It's free right back here. Now I'm going to pull it out and I'll show you that part. This is the bottom of the relay cord. So you can see that piece there. You can pull that right down and you got the relay in your hands. So this is what the light relay looks like once you've gotten it loose and pulled it down. Now that looks like that'll pull right off, right? Don't believe what you see just because it looks that way. Don't start pulling on things. Flip it over and you'll see a nice little push mechanism right up top that'll release it. Give me a minute here. All right. The push mechanism I told you about is right there. And I just confirmed that it'll pull off. Unfortunately, I didn't plan on doing this, so I'm here by myself and no one else can hold this so you can actually see me pull it off. But I guarantee you, if you push that button out correctly, it'll slide right off without much force at all. You shouldn't have to force it. If you are, you're not pushing it correctly. Pull it back on and make sure it's seated up all the way. And then you should be able to push it and it'll snap right off. I'll show you again here in a minute, or I'll turn back on in a minute once I get it off and let you see what it looks like. All right. Once you get it off, this is what the piece connected to the bike will look like. You got your 3 connectors, and this is what the piece looks like that was pulled off. It slid right in there. It's only one modification I'm going to have to consider making. This rubber piece right here. I'm going to try to slip it over the other one so I can slide the new one right back over that metal piece so it'll be secure under there. But I'll show you how that works out here in a moment. But I'm going to start working with the other piece now. It should slide right in. Okay, I got the pieces off. And I took the little rubber piece that was on the back of this that held it in place off. I was hoping it would fit right on top of that other piece, but it won't. Couldn't get it to slide over that piece without taking a chance of breaking the plastic here. Another thing I noticed, if you look down in that piece, it only has 2 connectors. The connector on the bike has 3 female plugs to plug in. I'm hoping this is going to just straight plug and play. That would be best case scenario. Really don't want to mess with the harness of the bike or cut any wires to leave anything hanging. So I'm going to plug it in just like this with these 2. Good thing I see about this piece right here is it's got the positive and the ground on it, okay? And again, I'm hoping that that positive and ground corresponds with the positive and ground when it slides right back on there. I'm hoping and praying that it will, and you'll know here in a moment if it'll work or it won't work. Also, the little plastic piece I'm still going to use. And what I had to do was go ahead, or the rubber piece, is cut it in half in the middle. What I've decided to do is to get a plastic twisty tie to take around the whole mechanism to hold that securely in place on the plastic piece. I'm thinking that's going to work out pretty good, but again, you'll see here momentarily. Okay, as I was saying about the new piece, which I'm adding here, sorry about that light, it slid right on, plug and play, went right where it should go. I'm hoping that means that it's going to work correctly, and those 2 connectors that are there correspond with the 2 connectors needed to make it work on the bike itself. Wasn't able to get this piece to fit, so I went ahead and cut it and put it like this. What I'm going to do is get it on there, get it up where it needs to be, and then put a twisty tie around that whole metal bar. You'll be able to see what I did here in a moment. But the important point right now is this. That plugged right in. Best case scenario. As you hear, the bike is started, and I'm going to test the blinkers. We'll do the right one first, or the left one first. That one's working okay. Now we'll do the other one. That one too is working okay. But remember, I still have the LED dampeners on both sides. Looks like everything's okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take those off and wire those other wires straight to my blinker wires. We'll see how that works in a moment. Okay, this is the first side where I'm going to take the lead dampener, the one that hangs out and gets hot, and you can't really wrap it up with anything to insulate it. The instruction that came with it said it has to breathe. So leaving it open and breathing means you leave it hanging around under there, hooked up as best you can. I don't like that in general. I don't like loose wires. I don't like things hanging. So with the other part connected, I'm going to go ahead and take this dampener off and see if this side works correctly. If it does, I'm going to go ahead and take the other dampener off the other side. As you see, I kind of hooked this up to the best of my ability to make it work. But as always, it's always safer and better to have a straight connection without as many loose wires or loose connections. I'm going to go ahead and take care of this out of sight. All right, everyone. As you see, the bike is started again, and I went ahead and direct line and connected everything. I took the little current reducer out, the one that I told you gets hot and you can't really put anything around it to secure it. Went ahead and took it out of the system. These things may work, but I don't like them very much. I don't like anything hanging around the bike that can get hot and you can't control the temperature. But this is what we got, straight line connect. Now, let's see if it'll work. The moment of truth. As you see, it's working, and the blink rate is as it should be. It's not fast, and it's as it should be on the light and with the part that connects directly to the bike, or the flasher that's flush on the front end. So both are blinking correctly with a straight line connection using the flash rate replacement that I put on. This thing actually works, y'all. Okay, now everything is hooked back up. We'll do a final test. Right side, top and bottom blinkers blinking at the appropriate blink rate. Right side, everything blinking at the appropriate blink rate. So, overall, it was a success. Other side, back blink is also working. So in fact, the piece worked just like it was advertised to control the blink rate. Just one connection. One more process left to do, and that's to go ahead and hook this back up top and make it secure. But yes, in fact, this blinker or flash controller slows down the blink rate to the appropriate blink rate for LED lights. And it was a plug and play. All right, everybody. The final little piece is done. I'm going to zoom in on where I resecured it. The whole idea of using a rubber thing did not work, so I put that down, and I just went ahead and wire tied it. I wire tied it back where the other one was so that if this bike does change hands, people will be able to figure out what that item there is. But again, and in conclusion, the piece I bought that was advertised to slow down the blink rate to replace the flash relay that's on the bike, plugged right in and worked right away. Didn't have any difficulties. The main difficulties were getting it loose and connecting it and getting it back up in there and wire tying it secure. And again, there it is, right there, all done. Now my flashers are working perfectly, even the LED lights. And when I add the integrated tail light, I don't expect to have any problems with that either. This item should control that also. When I'm installing that, I'll do another video to let you guys see me put that on the bike itself. But again, this job is done. See you guys out there on the road. Ride safely.